This is a video series on setting up Job Book. If you're coming to the series from the middle, I'd recommend you start at the beginning of the series, as each video will build on the next. In the last section, we talked about what line items are in general in Job Book. In this section, we'll be looking at creating labor cost line items and talking about how labor cost line items are specifically used in the Job Book system. So let's hop into it. What we're going to do is set up Job Book with line items. To be more specific, we're going to create labor cost line items. To create a labor cost item from the dashboard, click on the Navigate button at the top left. Then click on Administration. Then click on Labor Cost Items. This is the item list. We'll talk more about this shortly. But first, click the Create button. The first field is the name field. You'll notice next to the name of the field is a red star. This denotes a required field. If you try to save a form that is required, Job Book will highlight the fields in red and require you to fill out the fields with some values. Let's fill in the name of your labor cost item. The next field is accounting code. This isn't required, but some accounting systems like Sage 50 will use these accounting codes to help import data from Job Book into the accounting system. From now, I'm going to give the accounting code the value of 4100. Again, this code is used by your accounting system, and the number you use should correspond to the number your accounting system uses. In Job Book, we call them accounting codes, but you might hear them referred to as chart of accounts or GL or general ledger codes. If you're wondering where these accounting codes come from, ask your accountant or bookkeeper. The next field is category. This is a required field. It's only used for sorting the line items into human readable categories. I'll set this to field. The next field is billing unit. It defaults to hours, but you can change it to anything. If you click on the drop-down, you'll see day, per, and unit. But you can set billing unit logically to anything really. For example, miles, or even sandwiches if you like. I'll leave it on hours for now. The next field is billing unit cost. Let's set this to $110. You'll notice the hourly cost was automatically set. I'll talk more about billing unit costs and hourly costs after I finish creating this line item. The last two checkboxes are tax exempt and active. The tax exempt checkbox is used to make the line item tax exempt, if applicable. The active checkbox is set to active by default. If you ever want to delete a labor cost item, you can delete them only if they haven't been used in the past. If they have been used in the past, you'll have to deactivate them by unchecking the active checkbox here. When you click the Save button, that will create the labor cost item in the Job Book system. Don't worry, if you need to change something, you can always edit the labor cost items after creation. As you can see, our new labor cost item is now displayed on the item list. You can see the category we created, the name, the accounting code, the hourly cost, the billing unit costs, and over here we have the edit button. This is where you go to edit your line items. Now let's create another labor cost item and talk a little more about the nuance of unit costs and hourly costs. So just like before, you're going to click on the Create button. I'm going to create another labor cost item. This time I'll call it Survey Mobilization Rate. The accounting code for this is going to be 4200. For the category, if you hit the drop down, you'll see the field we created previously. We'll reuse that category. Now, for billing unit, select day. You'll notice hourly cost is now editable, and there is a new text displayed under the field. What this means is you'll have to set the day rate in the billing unit costs and also set the hourly cost. So let's do that. Set the day rate to $800. Now we can set the hourly cost. Let's say the hourly cost is $80 per hour. So set the hourly cost to $80. Did you see how the text changed? It automatically will tell you, based on your day rate and hourly rate, how many hours are in a day of work. In this example, because the day rate is $800 and the hourly rate is $80 per hour, that means there must be 10 hours in a day of work. It might be a little clearer if I change the hourly rate to $100 per hour. You can now see a day consists of 8 hours. So why does our system do this? The reason is labor cost items are used by your staff when they do their timesheets. A staff member, when doing their timesheets, typically do them by the hour. So Peter, the party chief, will record that he and Ron, the rod man, worked 8 hours, not that they worked a day. So Job Book converts those 8 hours into 1 day of survey mobilization in the system. When looking at reports for the line items or invoices, you will see how many days of mobilization you have based on the hours inputted by your staff. You can learn more about invoices and reports in our Job Book How to Use Guide series and our Job Book Reporting Guide series, or look for a link to the video in the description below. If you're interested in learning more about how to import data into accounting systems like Sage, QuickBooks, or Xero, see our Job Book How to Use Guide series, or look for a link to the video in the description below. What I'm going to do quickly in the background is create some more labor cost line items. We'll use them further in this Job Book How to Set Up Guide series, and also in the Job Book How to Use Guide series. So how are labor line items used in the Job Book system? If you recall from the previous video, labor line items are used mainly when the staff are filling out their daily work records and are sometimes used when administrators create invoices based on the time and materials used on a job. Administrators use reports that take labor line items and generate payroll with them. Project managers use reports that take labor line items to look at the real-time burn of projects. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to set up your equipment and materials in Job Book. And in upcoming videos, I'm going to show you how to set up fixed price items, the last line item type in Job Book. Hope you enjoy!